I'm sure all of you now are pretty confident in creating the user account in Microsoft Entra. Believe me, while you are handling all those kind of identities and the users, you need to understand that these different kind of identities has their own purpose. And of course, for the users that you actually created inside the Microsoft Entra, and obviously for your organizational purpose, is most relevant for your job role as well. But sometime we need to invite external user, and we already learned that how we can invite, especially from the Azure portal. It's not new way that you need to learn in this video, but yeah, I'll certainly go back and try to remind you where you can start creating those and inviting those external user, and why you have to take care and why you need to actually care about these external identities for obviously one purpose. Because guys, by default, these users has some kind of permission, some kind of settings that is kind of a by default. But again, based on the restrictions, based on the current organizational setup, you need to choose the right setting while inviting these identities to, access all those internal resources. Because why you need to invite the user? They definitely want to do something about the resources, or maybe the website, or maybe any kind of data that you are running currently inside your Microsoft environment. So obviously you need to understand where are the settings and how you can invite using both the ways from the Azure portal. You already learned that. And the second thing, obviously from the PowerShell, I'll tell you how you're going to create it. I already created the script, and I'll tell you how it is going to help for the organizational purpose. Hello guys, my name is HarshArena, and in this video we are going to learn two different things. One, we already started with the external identities. In this one we will learn how you can invite the user, how you can deal with the settings that are available for the external identities, and of course during the invitation, if you have to deal with the PowerShell, what are the PowerShell command that you're gonna use, and obviously and invite the user for the purpose to access the resources within your organization. So in this one, let me just explain about the collaboration settings and why it is so important, and you need to take care about these settings, because by default this kind of inclusive, and what does it mean for you? It's like you're allowing a lot of things directly to access within your organization while giving the invitation to these external user. Definitely for a certain purpose, if somebody asks you to change the settings, you need to know where you have to go in Microsoft Entra and how you're going to change the external collaboration settings. But before that, I need to tell you why you need to take care of these external settings and how external users or invitation can help you to invite the user and do the things for you that you definitely want them to do for you. So first thing first, here you can see there are some users, and it could be a customers, it could be a business customers, or the business owners, or maybe the business collaborator. It doesn't matter. The sign here is you want to invite these external users, and obviously the first thing come in your mind is securing the user access, because if you are allowing them to access the resources of your Microsoft Azure, or maybe your environment currently for the organization point of view, then the first thing is security. So that's the first rule of the cybersecurity, that you need to think about it. Then again, these external collaboration settings may help you to deal with this. Second, why once it is invited, what they are going to do? Obviously they might able to access the application and the services that are running inside your environment, and it could be anything. Could be a mobile application, could be a kind of purchasing site. You can just imagine what kind of application that you want to approve or you want to allow them to access. Then one thing you need to think about it, that it can help you to accelerate secure app development. You can simply just create your application, and later on you can apply the settings that can make an environment secure for these external user. So obviously you can involve RBAC, the role-based access control. There are other kind of settings that only you want to allow them to access a certain application to these external identities or the user. Only then they are able to access. Otherwise, they definitely won't able to access anything without your intervention, without your permission, and obviously the settings that you configured for these external identities. And the last thing is, and it can certainly help you to create the seamless user experience. What does it mean? I mean, if you are using a like Microsoft 365 or Microsoft Teams, maybe a SharePoint, or maybe a kind of a service that can sharing those data that you want to, like maybe it's a document library in the SharePoint, and you want to give access to this document library to these external user, then again the experience completely would be very much seamless. You won't even imagine that these external users won't even feel that they are not a part of the organization, though they are. But again, once they are trying to access these different applications and the data, they won't need to sign in again and again. All these services being handled by Microsoft Entra, and external identities would definitely feel a seamless experience while accessing all those applications which are running in the cloud and of course in on-premises. So that are the overall advantages of using the external identities. And obviously one of the biggest reason that I have heard of in the real world is all about you want to invite someone to do the job for you, and it could be in any way. I mean, it could be in certain ways for the application base, maybe for website, maybe for data checking, penetration testing, could be a port testing, port security testing. Maybe you are running some kind of firewall and you just hire a specialized organization to do the job only for 15 to 20 days for you. Then exactly these are the settings and these are the ways you need to invite them to access all these applications and the resources within your organization. I hope you get the point, right? And the second thing is while creating, I mean, you already learned with me in the previous video that how you can invite an external user or an external identity over Azure portal. But this video can help you to also learn how you can invite a user via a PowerShell. Though I will again explain from the Azure portal where you have to go, where you have to start inviting the external identities. So guys, without a further ado, let's jump in and learn more about the external collaboration setting. I'm too excited. Before to jump in on the Microsoft Azure portal, I'd like to just explain few things about the external collaboration settings and why this configuration is important to you. The first thing first, there are two possible scenarios for which you are going to configure your external collaboration settings. Number one, it might be a B2B collaboration, which is a business to business in terms of the word. You can understand in this way, which means that you may invite your partners, vendors, suppliers, or maybe other collaborator. It doesn't matter whether their email ID in the other domain issuer, maybe Google, maybe Facebook, maybe any other Microsoft Azure or Entra identities, or maybe any other identities. It doesn't matter. You're just inviting them to do the job for you, and it could be inside your on-premises or maybe any kind of settings or application storage on which you want them to work on. So that is a very simple way that you are gonna invite them, and once it has been, invitation is accepted by these people, they're gonna sign up automatically to these applications. And of course you can start assigning permissions application accordingly. There's second way, which means business to customers, which means a very simple. I give you one quick example. Netflix, Hotstar, Z5. If you are in India, if you are outside, HBO. I mean, that is one of the popular one that I know. Maybe you can find even more these kind of movie or you can say OTT platforms or the application which is allowing us to sign up, and after that just pay the money and getting, start using all the services being provided by you as an organization. So obviously these consumers, these customers is going to sign up for the published application. Once they can sign up by themselves, there is no invitation required. You just prepared a sign up page. They sign up with their identities, for example their email ID or maybe their contact number, and once they are signed up, the sign in user flows. I mean, you can, like, you keep asking next, your male, what's your age, what's your date of birth, all those kind of user flows, your details. You can certainly apply the custom policies that you are eligible to watch these contents or these contents based on the pricing tags. You can definitely assign those kind of policies or the permissions. Based on that, they are able to access all of their resources inside your organization. So these two type of settings you can find out once you jump in the external collaboration settings. And here you need to just understand your role. I mean, why you want to allowing them to do certain things based on the resources that you have. Obviously, you need a clarification from your operation lead that what exactly the job or what exactly the purpose of this guy to invite inside our organization, because you are the administrator or the security operation person who need to make sure that everything is pretty secure and there might be no challenges later on once it has been invited. Because once you get invited and the permission being assigned to that certain guy, he or she can possibly do a certain level of damage if they want to. Obviously, there might be a kind of a contract, there might be some kind of conversation happen. Totally agree with that. But yeah, as a security operation person, I highly recommend all of you to make sure to clarify what kind of purpose of this external guy to do the things inside the organization. And obviously one more thing, you can certainly, based on these settings, you can only allow a dedicated or a certain domain names as well. Like for example, you only want to allow Google, you can do that. If you just want to deny everything except one of the external domain which is not a part of Google, Facebook, or like Instagram, obviously it's a part of Facebook. But you get my point. I mean, you can assign those settings, and I will show you where you have to go to deal with these kind of settings inside the Microsoft Azure. But the purpose is pretty clear, that these settings can give you all those kind of controls inside your hand as a security operation person, that you can certainly allow them to do the things in a better way, or you can simply restrict them, or maybe you can just keep it open, everything. I mean, the whole ground is open for them. It's all your choice that how you're gonna move forward based on those requirements. So guys, this is just a basic explanation that you need to understand, but it's all about the settings. So let me take you to the Azure portal and show you where are these settings and how you're gonna start configuring them. To configure the external collaboration settings inside the Microsoft Azure, there are two ways that you can deal with this. Number one, you simply go to Microsoft Entra ID, and on the left hand side we have external identities, which Microsoft actually make this as a separate portal to deal with all kind of settings related to the external identities. Don't worry, it is not been finished yet. We are definitely gonna cover up all other settings right here. But if we talk about the external collaboration settings, you can simply click here on the left hand side, external collaboration setting, and there you go. You can find all of your settings right here at this place. Now, if you want to deal with in a different way, or I mean for the external identities, you can also go to users. I mean, all of these settings are absolutely same. There is no difference at all. Simply go to user settings, and under here you have the option called external users or manage external collaboration settings. Like I said, all of these settings are the same. So let's start with the guest user access first, because it is so simple. Frankly speaking, you just need to read it and understand what exactly you want based on your requirement. So as you can see, under this place we have guest user settings. guest user have the same access as the members. Definitely I don't want this. Definitely I don't want this. The second option is guest users have limited access to properties and memberships of the directory objects. Yes, it makes sense, and it is even much better in terms of giving access to someone which is outside of my organization. Guest user access is restricted to properties and membership to their own directory objects. No, it's not good. Yeah, in case if you definitely want to be extremely in control and you definitely don't want to allow anything to the users, then most restrictive would be a right choice. But for me, if I want to play with this setting would be a right choice at this moment to me. You can review, like I said, based on your requirement. Similarly, guest invite setting. Anyone in the organization can invite guest user, including guest and non-admin. No, this is really not good. Member users and users assigned to specific admin role can invite guest user, including guest and member permission, which is fine. It's okay. Only user assigned to the specific admin role can give guest user. This is also good. I mean, depending on the situations. I mean, second and third would be a good choice. No one in the organization can invite. No, this is really not good unless you don't want to allow any user from external. Then yes, I mean, last option is really nice for you. Enable guest self-service sign up via user flows. This option, like I said, only you have to configure in one particular requirement where you build an application and somebody wants to sign up. If you click yes, then you can follow the settings. Otherwise, I highly prefer at this moment no, if you are working in the B2B environment. External user leave settings. Allow external users to remove themselves from the organization. Yeah, that's fine. If their job finished, yeah, either you can remove them from the directory, or they can remove themselves from the directory, which is fine. This is yes, would be fine to me. Collaboration restrictions. Allow invitation to be sent to any domain, which is okay. At this moment is okay. Deny invitation to the specific domain. I mean, if you wanna deny all the requests, of course, from the certain domain, you can select this one, or you want to allow only limited domains, you can select this option. But at this moment, I will go with the first option because cross-tenant access settings would be really important to me, because I'm not 100% sure at this moment what kind of people are been doing things for us. So I'm not sure whether they are using Google or Gmail or maybe Facebook or maybe any other email IDs or the domain names. I have no idea. But yeah, once you get the detail, I think the last would be the good choice for you, because you only know that these are the rightful people that you may want to invite to do the job for you, right? So that's how you're going to configure the external collaboration setting. That is all you need to keep in your mind. Nothing much, and I'm sure it's not difficult at all to understand. So once it is done, let's move to create the external identities and invite users from both Azure Portal and PowerShell. As a final step, now we are on Microsoft Azure and will help you out to understand how you can start inviting those external identities. But don't even think that you have not done this thing before. We have like couple of videos I personally created. In fact, in AZ-104, in AZ-500, we have covered this up. You just need to know how you're going to start inviting based on these settings as well as from the PowerShell, and that's all. But at least I'll tell you where you have to go and how you're going to start inviting the user using the PowerShell and Azure Portal. So to invite an external user, let me just jump in directly without wasting your time. We can simply go to the users, and like I said, you already know how to do it, right? It's not new at all. So if you remember, in the past, we have invited one of the guest user named this one, and obviously the HarshAdmin@gmail.com, right? This one is the same one we are going to do here. The only thing I like to highlight here, that how you're going to start inviting, click here, click on invite external user, and obviously type the name, whatever the name you want to type, Harsh That's fine. Oh, well, email ID. Let me type it again as an example. That's my email ID. Display name would be Harsh. Message, I need your help. Please join our team. I mean, obviously, as per the discussion, that must be happen. And this is the redirect URL, right? This is how you're gonna copy the tenant ID and everything. I mean, it's already there for you. And simply, you can go to the properties, you can add on things if you really want to. Otherwise, simply click on review and invite. Once the invitation finished, there's only one thing you need to keep in your mind, that go back once the invitation sent, go to the same user, and here you can identify a couple of things which you need to keep in your mind, because for this particular user, I have already invited and it's been done already. The one thing I like to highlight, which you need to know from an external user, that guys, you cannot reset a password for the external users, because these are actually from Google. I mean, this guest type is from Google. So definitely we are not the authorized person to modify, and that is exactly you can see on resetting the password. So if you want to reset the password for the external user, you have to deal with the Google account only. And apart from that, there's a couple of things I like to highlight and would like to share with you, that once the invitation sent, here are the things. Security attributes, you want to add on the assignment if there is. You can start assigning the role for this person. Administrative units, you can start managing all those administrative units. Groups, you can add on this user as a group. The certain application you want to assign, you can assign. You can assign a license to this person as well if you want to. And on which device this user is particularly going to log in, you can decide that. I mean, all of these settings is gonna manage right from here, only for the external users, right? Nothing new, nothing fancy. It's a simple and easy thing. And I already teach you multiple times how you're gonna invite a user, like especially an external user from the Azure portal. Now, what we are going to learn is how you're gonna start inviting a user from the PowerShell end, which is again, though the commands are available on the Microsoft portal, but I already simplified it for you, that you can simply add on these PowerShell commands, and once it has been added, you can simply use it and enjoy. Simple as that. So I'm gonna just make it a little bit big here. That can help you. That's, I think, maximum we can do. Come on. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So we are good here. At this moment, our Azure PowerShell has been connected. So first command you need to type is connect Azure AD. Because if you don't type it, it is not gonna recognize your command. So like I said, I already created this one for you. I mean the PowerShell command. I'm going to simply copy and paste here so that it won't waste a lot of time of us. Oh yeah, actually I made a small mistake while copying this. I thought it's gonna allow us. Let me just make it like this. Yeah, I know. So anyway, I'm gonna write down again new Azure ADMS invitation. As you can see, it's right here, right? And this time display name would be not HarshArena, this would be Nick, because I already created one specific. Come on, what is going on, man? Let me type again. Not this one. Azure ADMS invitation. Yeah, I hate this anyway. Okay, I'm gonna just type it as a Nick. Good. Space. After that, you need to make sure once you type the name, you have to invite the particular email ID. So here would be invite. Let me see if that can be. No, it is not going to recognize like this. So I'm going to type the email ID harsharena@gmail.com. This would be like this. And once it is done, the domain name has been mentioned. Then you have to just type send invitation. Hope there's no typo. Message true, because I want this to send as an invitation. Once it is done, it will, oh wow, where is that problem? Parameter could be refined. Invite user email address. I think it's fine. There is no problem at all. I think there must be problem. Okay, I got it. So I always have this problem once it is done with the typo, like I said, invited email address. And once it is done, now it is going to ask you to type the URL, and the URL would be, I'm going to type it like this. This would be myapps.microsoft.com. You can also add the tenant ID, but I think this would be fine. Once it is done, if it is successful, then you're gonna receive an invitation, and I think this time it's been done. The only thing is pending here, that like the status, right? So obviously for to accept the invitation, what you have to do, you have to go to the email ID, and just to verify, here's the email ID. The email ID is nick.harsharena.gmail@gmail.com, and there you go. You receive an invitation. Once you click here, obviously you have to proceed with the accept the invitation. Once you accept the invitation, like let me do that. Anyway, the process is fairly simple. So there you go. It's gonna ask you, okay, I'm gonna send a code, which is fine. You're gonna receive a code in short while. There you go. The code is, let me just copy. Otherwise, it's gonna take a lot of time. Copy, and I'm gonna paste. Done, sign in. If it is sign in, yeah, do you wanna accept? Yes, of course. And there you go. Okay, type here again, nick.harsharena.gmail.com. Next. Oh my God, I forgot to type @nick.harsharena. Come on. Wow, what happened? I have no idea. Should be done. What happened here? Do we have any problem, man? Let me do that again for you if there's any problem. I always have these things with me. nick.harsharena@gmail.com. How about that? Wow. Somehow it doesn't work for me. Maybe it will take a little bit more time, but usually it should be accepted immediately. Oh yeah, okay. It is not allowing me to, because I do not mention the tenant ID. That is a problem. So yeah, make sure you have to just type in the tenant ID, and how you're going to find it. Let me show you. I have to go back right here. And if you remember, once you create a user account, let me just type in here, go back to the user, new user, invite external users, this one. So after this, you have to make sure type in this one, because if you don't type this one, then it may, make some trouble like this. It won't verify which tenant that you exactly want to connect. Because if I take you back, you have to understand this. Here you have this domain name, and domain name has a dedicated tenant ID. All right, only then you are able to identify that we call. Why I have chosen this for you? Because sometime when you follow those commands available in the Microsoft forum, they don't mention about the tenant ID. So guys, keep in your mind, you have to have this tenant ID configure during the time of the, you are creating this user or inviting the user. Otherwise, without this tenant ID, you will see these kind of trouble. Got it? So make sure you will follow this, and obviously after that you are able to see all the details right under this place. But let us check whether the nick is there or not for us. Yeah, nick is there. Though if you want to confirm from this place, then what you can do is you can simply type Azure AD user. After that you have to use a filter, then mail. Of course we have to use a mail, or not dash, I'm sure it should be double inverted comma, equal to, I tried this in the previous part, so I'm gonna type nick dot HarshArena @gmail.com. I think right now it's good. Press enter. If this user exists inside your user identity, that's how you're gonna find it. Though again, this guy has accepted the invitation but unable to redirect to the right tenant ID, and I already told you where you have to find this troubleshooting point and the solution as well. So once you try it by your own, just make sure you follow the right direction while accessing and creating your external identities. So guys, that to be all for today. I hope you find this video quite helpful and informative, because we have not done yet for this external identity topic. We have also more verified ID, which is going to cover in the very next video. So till then, stay safe, enjoy your time, enjoy with your family, and obviously I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Peace.